Violin Player, Watercolor by Vladimir London.
In this video lesson, you'll learn how to paint a figurative illustration in watercolor.
Here is the painting I will have by the end of this lesson. I took inspiration for this artwork background from the streets of Venice. Here is the Teatro Italia building, and I'm making a quick sketch of it on location. I will do a quick watercolor using the pen and wash method. The drawing is done in permanent marker, which will not dissolve when I apply the watercolor washes on top. The purpose of this preliminary watercolor sketch is to capture the feeling of this place, and is a very valuable exercise before starting the actual artwork itself. I have no intention of capturing every small detail in this small sketch. This picture is just for my reference when I do the artwork in the studio. If you have the opportunity to paint outdoors while you are traveling or in your home country, use these experiences not only to improve your watercolor painting skills, but also to collect inspiration for your future artworks. I'm now back in the studio and will start by affixing the watercolor paper to the board. This time, I will show you one method that is not widely used by watercolor artists. However, you may find it helpful if you want to properly glue paper to the drawing board and have its front surface fully exposed, but at the same time to be able to take the finished piece off the board without damaging neither the watercolor paper nor the board. First, I apply the brown glue tape, moistening it in water and affixing it to the board to protect the board from the next layer of glue. Now, I take another strip of the brown tape and apply the PVA glue on its clean side. Now this strip can be glued on top of the brown paper which was affixed to the board previously. I do it along all four edges. Because the PVA glue is between the brown tapes, it will be much easier to remove them from the board, instead of gluing the watercolor paper sheet to the wooden board permanently. Now, I will wet a half sheet of good quality watercolor paper made of 100% cotton on both sides with clean water. This paper has 300 GSM weight. It is cold pressed, and it will take 10 to 15 minutes for the paper sheet to absorb the water and expand in size. When the watercolor paper is ready, I moisten the brown glue tape and carefully place the watercolor paper sheet on top of the brown tape. It's important to wash your hands first to rid them of any traces of brown paper glue, because a single fingertip of this glue could ruin the painting. I will now press slightly on the paper's edges to adhere them to the tape and let it dry for several hours or overnight. When the paper is totally dry, I can transfer the design from the tracing paper. This tracing paper is affixed to the board on one side with masking tape, so I can lift it from the other side to check how the drawing is transferring. I skipped the process of making a cartoon drawing for this artwork, but if you would like to learn how to draw whatever you see or imagine, you can do it by watching the 45 video lessons of the Drawing Academy online course. With the drawing transferred to the paper, it's time to begin the first wash. I call this wash the imprimatura. I do it with a very transparent and light tint of blue paint, using the plain wash method. The purpose of this wash is to make the background area off-white and give a light blue color to it. This, of course, doesn't mean that the theatre wall will be blue. Quite the opposite. This wall will have yellow, orange, and brown colors of the plaster and the brickwork, and this light blue tint won't even be visible on the final artwork. However, Because watercolor layers are transparent, it will play a role in the overall color of the wall.